Hello and welcome back to Exam Cracker. My name is Dibranjan Bora and I am here with the part 3 of the historical background of the making of the Indian Constitution. So in the part 2 of this video, I have already discussed the Government of India Act of 1858. We have understood the motive behind the passing of the Indian Council Act of 1861, 1892 and 1909. So today in this video I am going to discuss three more important acts that were passed by the Britishers before the independence of India. So the acts that I am going to discuss today are the Government of India Act of 1919, the Government of India Act of 1935 and the Indian Independence Act of 1947. So let's begin. The first act that I am going to deal with is the Government of India Act of 1919. So this act declared for the very first time that its objective was the gradual introduction of the responsible government. So for the very first time the concept of the responsible government was brought in and discussed, and it was brought in on an experimental basis. So what does this concept of responsible government mean? In the responsible government, basically the executive is responsible towards the legislature. For example, we can take the present working of our Indian Union. Here Prime Minister and the Union Council of Ministers, they constitute the executive branch of the Indian government, and the Parliament is our legislature. So the executive jun ase, for example Prime Minister and the Union Council of Ministers, তেওঁলোকে কৰো বুলিলে সকলোখিনি কাম তেওঁলোকে কৰিব নোৱাৰে, because they are answerable in the Parliament. They are answerable to the members of the Parliament. Members of the Parliament, they can ask any question to the Prime Minister or the Union Council of Ministers regarding any law. কিয় সেই লাইনখিনি আনিলে, what was the necessity, তেনেকুৱা টাইপৰ বহুতখিনি কুৱেশ্যন কৰিব পাৰে, and if they are not satisfied, these parliamentarians, the members of the parliamentarians, can pass the motion of no confidence and bring down the whole government. তেওঁলোকে vote of no confidence pass কৰি পেলাই তেওঁলোকে গোটেই গভৰ্ণমেণ্টখনে ভাঙি পেলাব পাৰে. So this is what the meaning of responsible government means. Now the next fact is this act was also known as the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms, as Montagu was the Secretary of the State for India and Lord Chelmsford was the Viceroy of India. As already discussed, the first name is always associated with the Secretary of the State and the second name is associated with the Viceroy of the India. During the passing of this act, Montagu was the Secretary of the State for India and Lord Chelmsford was the Viceroy of India. So moving on, we have it relaxed the central control over the provinces by demarcating and separating the central and provincial subjects. So basically this point means that there was clear division of power. আগতে কি হৈছিলে, all the powers of lawmaking or the administration were concentrated in the hands of the center. Now by the passing of this act, basically the powers for making the laws and administration were divided between the center and the provinces. So moving on to the next slide. The system of diarchy was introduced by this act. It divided the provincial subject into two parts, transfer and the reserve. So it was for the very first time the concept of the diarchy was brought in, and the meaning of diarchy is double government. The meaning of diarchy is double government. Now word diarchy is basically of Greek origin, and so it means double government. So let us try to understand what does the word diarchy means. As already discussed, there was basically division of power between the center and the provinces. Now these powers of the provinces were further divided into two parts. It was divided into transfer subjects and another was the reserve subjects. Now this whole concept is known as a system of diarchy or system of double government. So let us try to understand what does the word transfer subject mean, what does the word reserve subject means. The transfer subject কোনখিনি হয় চাওঁ আহক. It is administered by the governor with the aid of the ministers responsible to the legislative council. So the items that are included in the transfer subjects are administered by the governor, and it is administered by the governor with the aid of the council of ministers. So basically in a way the governor is responsible for making any laws on the transfer subject to the legislative council. And the reserve subject, it is administered by the governor and his executive council without being responsible to the legislative council. So reserve subject jikhini items included asile that governor law banabo with the help of his members of his executive councils. So this is what the meaning of transfer subject and the reserve subject means. Now moving on to the next point, this act introduced for the very first time bicameralism and direct election in the country. the Legislative Council was replaced by bicameral legislature consisting of an upper house and lower house. So bicameralism প্ৰথমবাৰৰ বাবে it was brought into this act. So you might get question in your exam, আপোনালোকে exam question face কৰিব পাৰে যে which act brought the concept of the bicameralism into our Indian constitution. So it was the Government of India Act of 1919. Our direct election was introduced in the country for the very first time by which act, and whatever question আপোনালোকে পাব পাৰে, then the answer will be the Government of India Act of 1919. So what does the word bicameralism mean? Basically the word bicameralism মানে কি হয় যে আমাৰ যোনটো council আছে, the Legislative Council in India, the name is the Parliament. Now this Parliament has two houses, right? We have Rajya Sabha, we have Lok Sabha. So bicameralism মানে হৈছে basically two houses. It represents two houses. And the next is direct election. Direct election was introduced by this Government of India Act of 1919. At present in our country we have universal adult suffrage, right? We have universal adult suffrage and we have the voting right. After attaining a certain age, we all enjoy the voting right. But during the time of British administration, voting rights সকলোৱে enjoy কৰা নাছিল. It was basically enjoyed by those people who were rich. The Britishers, they used to give voting rights only to people on the basis of their property. Okay, so let us move to the next slide. In the next slide, the first point is it provided for the establishment of a public service commission. Hence, a central public service commission was set up in the year 1926. So already I have told you the motive behind the passing of the Indian Council Act of 1861, 1892 and 1909. Their main aim কি আছিলে? The Britishers, they wanted more and more Indians into the British administration. So for this very reason, the Central Public Service Commission was set up in the 1926. Our main function কি আছিলে? For making recruitment to the central administration. Okay, recruitment কৰিবৰ কাৰণে basically the Central Public Service Commission was set up in the year 1926. And in a way you can say this the Central Public Service Commission as the precursor of today's UPSC. You can call it as the father of UPSC, the Central Public Service Commission, which was set up in the year 1926. So moving on to the next point, it extended the principle of communal representation by providing separate electorates for Sikh, Indians, Christians, Anglo-Indians and Europeans. Now the policy of divide and rule has been further extended. Divide and rule, already have discussed in the previous video how the Britishers, for convenient administration, they decided to bring a rift between the Hindus and the Muslims. তেওঁলোকে হিন্দু আৰু মুছলিমৰ মাজত বিবাদ আনিবৰ কাৰণে তেওঁলোকে 1905ত তেওঁলোকে বেংগল পাৰ্টিশন কৰি তাৰ পিছত তেওঁলোকে মুছলিম সম্প্ৰদায়ৰ মানুহসকলক এটা সেপাৰেট ইলেক্টৰেট এটা বনাই দিছিলে. So these things were basically done to break down the unity that existed in Indian society, and now this communal representation has been expanded. আগতে মুছলিমসকলক সেপাৰেট ইলেক্টৰেট দিয়া আছিল, now this is being provided to the Sikh, the Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians and the Europeans. So moving on to the next slide, we have the Government of India Act of 1935. So before discussing this act of 1935, let me throw some light into the background of this act. Okay, ইয়াৰ আৰৰ কাহিনী কি আছে আমি জানি লোৱাটো ভাল হ'ব. Government of India Act of 1935, it was basically brought into the Indian polity as a result of the Simon Commission. Simon Commission's recommendation, basically the Government of India Act of 1935 was brought in. এটা কি হৈছিলে, in the Government of India Act of 1919, there was this provision যে after 10 years we are going to review. After 10 years we are going to review the working of the Government of India Act of 1919. তেওঁলোকে চাব বিচাৰিছিলে এটা কমিটি ফৰ্ম কৰিব যে after 10 years they will form a committee আৰু তেওঁলোকে ৰিভিউ কৰিব যে Government of India Act 1919 are they serving the people or not. So as a result, Simon Commission was set up under the chairmanship of John Simon, and it was a 7-member committee. আৰু তেওঁলোকে report submit কৰিলে in the year 1930. আৰু তাত তেওঁলোকে কি কৰিছিলে, they talked about the formation of a all India federation and the removal of the diarchy. So as a result, the Government of India Act of 1935 was brought in. Now the first point of the Government of India Act of 1935 is that it is the most lengthiest and the detailed act passed by the Britishers, having 321 sections and 10 schedules. So Government of India Act of 1935 is the most lengthiest and the most detailed act that was passed by the Britishers, and it had 321 sections and 10 schedules. So keep these things in mind, they are very important for your exams. Now moving on to the next point, it provided for the establishment of an all India federation consisting of provinces and princely state. It divided the powers between the center and the units in the terms of three lists: federal list, provincial and concurrent list. So as already submitted in a report by the John Simon committee, তাত কি কোৱা হৈছিলে অল ইণ্ডিয়া ফেডাৰেশ্যন এটা ফৰ্মেশ্যন কৰাৰ কথা কৈছিলে আৰু এই অল ইণ্ডিয়া ফেডাৰেশ্যনৰ কনষ্টিটুৱেণ্ট পাৰ্টছ কোনখিনি হ'ব? It will be constituted by the provinces that were ruled by the Britishers, and the second constituent unit will be the princely state, which were not ruled by the Britishers but they were allies of the British. But ultimately the idea of the all India federation it failed কাৰণ সকলোখিনি princely state they did not agree to the idea of all India federation, and ultimately this concept of the all India federation failed. Now one more important thing they did in this Government of India Act of 1935 was that they divided the powers between the center and the provinces into three lists. In the 1919 already they have given power to the provinces for separate lawmaking, for making laws regarding the administration. Now they have made a clear-cut division into three lists: federal list, provincial list and a concurrent list. So moving on to the next point, it abolished diarchy in the provinces and in its place introduced provincial autonomy. The provinces were allowed to act as autonomous units of administration. So the system of diarchy, the system of double government was removed entirely, and in its place provincial autonomy was brought. এটা provincial autonomy concept to কেনেকুৱা হয়? Basically in a provincial autonomy, province যিখিনি আছিলে, the constituent units, provinces, they were given more power in regard to the lawmaking process or in regard to the administration. They were given more powers. Basically that is the meaning of provincial autonomy. So moving on to the next slide, it introduced bicameralism in the provinces. So in the Government of India Act of 1919, the concept of the bicameralism was brought into Indian polity. Now the concept of the bicameralism is also being implemented in the provinces. আগতে চেণ্টাৰত আনিছিলে 1919ত চেণ্টাৰত আনিছিলে, and in 1935 bicameralism was brought into the provinces. Now the next point, it further extended the principle of communal representation by providing separate electorates for the depressed class. Now they have further extended the principle of communal representation by providing electorates for the depressed class. Now here the depressed class means the Dalit class or the Harijans. Lahe lahe, now they are trying to create more division among in the Indian society. Basically they now have extended the principle of communal representation even to the Dalit community. Now moving on to the next point, it provided for the establishment of Reserve Bank of India to control the currency and the credit of the country. It was under this act of 1935 the Reserve Bank of India came into being. Our your main function ki hoy to control currency and the credit of the country. Okay, this is the most important function of the Reserve Bank of India. So exam আপোনালোকে question পাব পাৰে যে under which act the Reserve Bank of India came into being? It came into being under the Government of India Act of 1935. So next we have, it provided for the establishment of not only a Federal Public Service Commission but also a Provincial Public Service Commission. So in the earlier Act of 1919 we saw the setting up of a Central Public Service Commission. In the central level we have the Central Public Service Commission or the Federal Public Service Commission. Now in this act the British government they tried to set up Provincial Public Service Commission for the recruitment in the state level. For example যেনেকৈ মই example দিছিলোঁ যে Federal Public Service Commission is today's UPSC. If I give you an example of a Provincial Public Service Commission, then you can take the example of APSC, Assam Public Service Commission, or any other state public service commission. So moving on to the next point, it provided for the establishment of a federal code which was set up in the year 1937. So this federal code is basically the Supreme Court of India. Supreme Court of India. This is a precursor. This federal code that was set up in the 1937 was a precursor of the today's Supreme Court of India. So these things are very important. When was the federal code was set up? It was set up in the year 1937. When was the concept of Provincial Public Service Commission was brought into It was brought in by the Government of India Act of 1935. So keep these things in mind. They are very important for your exam. Now the last act that I'm going to discuss is the Indian Independence Act of 1947. Now this act is known as the Mountbatten Plan, and it is also known as the June Plan. Now why it is known as the Mountbatten Plan? Because it was introduced by Lord Mountbatten. তেওঁ কোন আছিল? He was the last viceroy of India, Lord Mountbatten. So it is known as the Mountbatten Plan. আৰু জুন মাহত ইন্ট্ৰডিউস কৰাৰ কাৰণে বেসিক্যালি ইয়াক জুন প্ল্যান বুলিও কোৱা হয়. So you got the reason why it is known as the Mountbatten Plan and why it is known as the June Plan. So moving on, it ended the British rule in India and declared India as an independent and sovereign state from August 15, 1947. So এখনে হৈছে the legal document which mentions that India from this date, August 15, 1947, is an independent and a sovereign country. So this is the legal document that declares India as an independent country. Now the third point is it provided for the partition of India. Okay, this is the main document which provided for the partition of India into India and Pakistan. Okay, India and Pakistan partition hoisile, this is the legal basis. Indian Independence Act of 1947 is the legal basis. Now the next point, it empowered the constituent assemblies of the two dominions to frame and adopt any constitution for their respective nations and to repeal any act of British Parliament, including the Indian Independence Act itself. So yet basically কি ক'ব বিচাৰিছে যে যি দুটা ডমিনিয়ন country form হল India and Pakistan, they will have the right to make their own constitution. তেওঁলোকে নিজৰ হিচাপত নিজৰ constitution বনাব পাৰে, and if they wish they can make use of the earlier acts that were passed during the British administration, like the Government of India Act of 1858, like the Indian Council Act. তাৰ পৰা তেওঁলোকে সহায় ল'ব বিচাৰে, তেওঁলোকে ল'ব পাৰে, আৰু যদি ভাল লগা নাই তেওঁলোকে সেই গোটেই এক্টখন নল'ব পাৰে, they can repeal also. আৰু এই এক্টখনে ইমানটোলৈকে ক'লে যে if they want they can also repeal this entire act, Indian Independence Act খনো তেওঁলোকে repeal কৰি দিব পাৰে. So moving on to the next point, it granted freedom to the Indian princely state either to join the Dominion of India or the Dominion of Pakistan or remain independent. So yet কি কোৱা হৈছে basically when the partition happened, India আৰু Pakistaনৰ নামৰ দুখন দেশ জন্ম হ'ল. Now the British, they did not rule over the entire India. মই অলৰেডি আপোনালোকক কৈছিলোঁ যে it had various princely states who were the allies of the Britishers. আৰু তেওঁলোকক অপশ্যন দিয়া হ'ল, ব্ৰিটিছসকলে অপশ্যন দিলে যে তোমালোকৰ যদি ইচ্ছা আছে দেন ইউ কেন জইন দি ইণ্ডিয়া অৰ ইউ কেন জইন পাকিস্তান অলছ', আৰু তোমালোকে যদি দুখনৰ ভিতৰত এখনো জইন কৰিব মন নাই দেন ইউ কেন অলছ' ৰিমেইন ইণ্ডিপেণ্ডেণ্ট. So this was basically what this point is saying. Now the next point is it designated the Governor General of India as the constitutional head. Now the post of the Governor General has come back, and the first and the last Governor General of India was C. Rajagopalachari. C. Rajagopalachari was the first and the last Governor General of independent India, and he was the constitutional head of India. So this is the end of the today's video. এতিয়া আমি exam crackers we also provide coaching for UGC NET and SLET classes, য'ত আমি general paper 1 and economics কাৰণে আমি online coaching provide কৰি আছো, and we also provide online coaching for APSC, CTET, TET and sub inspector. If you have any query, you can contact us at 600575 and you can also email us at econ100219@gmail.com. So that's all for today in this video. Thank you for watching and do subscribe to Exam Crackers for more such videos.